All right, what's going on, guys? So one of the things that comes up a lot that I get asked when I take on a new client, especially whether it's a board and train, private lessons, or group lessons, very often people get very excited when they start training. And you go through that first lesson, like I said, no matter what type of lesson it is, group class, board and trains, private lessons, doesn't matter. A lot of people get very excited. They get into it, they start seeing the changes, they start understanding things better, and they'll ask, okay, we have this down pat, when's the next lesson? And I just have to laugh because anyone in the dog training world knows this stuff takes time, a lot of time. Now, let's say, for example, if someone signs up and we're doing a package of 5 or 6 private lessons, those first 2 lessons may be back to back. So let's say if we start on a Saturday, we have that first lesson, and it'll go a couple of hours long. First one's usually a little longer because there's so much information to translate to the people. And of course, we work with the dog. We may meet 1 week later on the following Saturday, sometimes 2 weeks, depends on the people's schedule, depends on the dog, the issues, how well the people grasp things, how well the dog grasps things. So there's a lot of things that go into it. But between that first and second lesson, we will meet fairly quick, right? As we get deeper into the training, I like to start stretching those meetings, those lessons, further and further apart, okay? Can we take 5, 6 weeks in a row and meet every week and get done and move on to the next people? Sure. Business-wise, that's a smart thing to do. Financially, that's a smart thing to do. Get people in, get people out, right? But it is the best thing for the dog and the owners. I don't think so. And over the years, I've experimented a ton with different things. And what I want people to understand is, no matter who you're working with, no matter who the dog trainer is that you're working with, you're learning, well, you should be learning, just like the dog is. And in reality, you become the dog trainer, right? If you have a dog, you are a dog trainer. The amount of time that that dog, no matter how long you send the dog away for, is with a dog trainer is just a small fraction of the amount of, compared to the amount of time it's going to be with you. And so when that trainer gives you that dog back, no matter what type of lesson it is, there's a lot of work that you have to do to keep that going and keep progressing, and that takes time, right? And so the more time you put into what you have just learned and what the dog has just learned, the better off you're going to be when you start adding new things, new education, new behaviors for both you and the dog, okay? Now, every now and then you get people that are really fired up. They get into this, they want to be dog trainers. Maybe they don't have a full-time job, they're at home a lot, and they can put a ton of time in with the dog every day. Then maybe someone like that you could proceed with a little faster, right? But in reality, everyone benefits from time. The dog and the owners. Because this stuff isn't easy, doesn't happen overnight, and it takes a lot of time, right? In reality, most people aren't going to have hours a day to spend training their dog. But again, in reality, if you're with your dog, you are training. So you have to understand both sides of it. The behavioral side, everything that's created inside the home, anyone who knows me still knows that's the most important thing to me, right? But the obedience itself, the things you're doing where, the time that you actually set aside for the dog to go work on something, to go train, no matter what that is, you can't really do that for an hour at a time. That's a lot, right? Most people don't have the ability to work with the dog for an hour and have the dog completely captivated for that full hour in learning. So fairly short, fun sessions are where the dog's going to learn best. Of course, if there's a lot of play incorporated into the training, then you could train longer than if you were just using food and it's straight up obedience, right? But again, between my 4th and 5th private lesson, I may take a full month between those 2 meetings, maybe even longer depending on the people and the dog, right? But what you have to understand, if you're a dog training client, between that month, you should be working on everything you learned up until that point. If you're just sitting around doing nothing, waiting to see what's next in dog training, then we're all going to fail. The trainer's going to fail, the dog's going to fail, and the owner's going to fail. So between those lessons, between learning new stuff, you should be working on what you have learned up until that point, no matter what type of training you're doing. And that goes for all dog training. That's very important, and I hope the average dog owner, not trainer, sorry. The average dog owner starts to understand that. You have to put in time, guys, and give these dogs time to learn. Give yourself time to learn, okay? So I hope that answers some of those questions. Peace.